This was a moment that I thought literally would never happen. And it was just announced. I literally cried. Rush is going to tour again. Hey there, I'm Dan, the self-proclaimed lonely rocker. Thank you so much for joining me today. So I was just blindsided, along with, I'm sure, millions of Rush fans around the world. Geddy and Alex, who have been known to put out these funny little videos, usually pushing their beer or something like that. Just two good old friends having some fun. And I love these videos. It just, I don't know, Rush has been out of the game for about 10 years. So it's nice to get little tidbits of the two of them together. So I always thoroughly enjoy it. So this little message came through, a notification came through my phone and many other phones today with a message from Geddy and Alex making an absolutely stunning announcement, and I literally broke down. So I thought, I wish I'd done this in real time, but I had no idea this was happening. But I thought, let's take a look at this little video together, and I'll share my thoughts about it because to me, it's important. Well, it starts off with the two of them being hams as usual.
Nah, that's a tight chord.
That was way better than the other 15 times we did this.
Yeah, and it's amazing how hard it is to play one chord.
It is. I've discovered this in the last year.
What do you mean by that?
Well,
we're being coy.
See, at this point, I figured they were going to announce something, maybe a 50th anniversary box set or something. I don't know.
Over to my house, and we've been coming down into the studio for years.
Years.
We wrote so many songs in here. You slept on that couch.
Memories.
And after 2015, there was a very quiet.
Yeah.
And
Rush had, in my opinion, one of the classiest exits of any of the big rock bands. Neil made it clear he didn't want to tour anymore. And they put on this amazing tour. The show was incredible, where they sort of went backwards, starting at modern times and deconstructed the stage until they got to the gymnasium days and played some of the old classics from the first couple of albums. I think it was an amazing way to go. But sadly, as we all know, Neil lost his life about 5 years later. He got sick a couple of years into his retirement, never really got to enjoy it. And that's sort of left the whole Rush thing kind of hanging. But anyways.
Yeah.
the more fun it became.
Yes, exactly.
And I was surprised because you were getting even more excited than I was.
Yeah, I love playing them. I just love playing our songs again.
And so that's put us in this terrible situation where we have to announce that we've made a decision to go back on tour.
Hi, we're going back on tour.
Okay, I really wish I was rolling a camera when I first watched this. That would have been the ultimate reaction video, but I literally started crying, and I'm glad I'm not doing it on camera here, but so many memories just started rushing back. And the first thing I thought about, and not that this band is that necessarily important to my kids, but I think my kids understand how important they are to me. And I always said that I'm sorry that I never got to share the Rush experience. And while Neil Peart is no longer with us, and Rush will never be the same without him, excuse me. But my first thought was, I can at least share what this feeling was like, because I'm sure it's going to feel like a big celebration. Now, how they're doing it is going to be interesting.
Things about how this is progressing, all the songs we're putting together. I don't know, 35 songs or so far for a set that's going to be, I don't know, around 35. A couple of hours, is the fact that we're going to cover a lot of things and change it up night to night. But we'll always have a part of the show that's a tribute to Neil and his memory of him and everything that he was to us. And it's going to be beautiful to be able to celebrate him every single night.
Yeah. But the biggest question is, the obvious question is, how do we replace someone who's irreplaceable? And I had heard from Scully, my bass tech, who had been on tour with Jeff Beck, and he had been working with this drummer named Annika Niles. And he mentioned that how impressive she was, how talented and, musical she was, and powerful. And I think you and I playing with her started to put a charge in us when we heard our song coming back to life. And it was only once we had those successful rehearsal sessions with her that made me feel like, yes, we can do this and we can do justice to this. And this is going to be fun.
Well, I felt exactly the same.
I just want to interrupt myself a little bit here and talk about Annika Niles. What an amazing drummer. I'm actually really excited with the prospect of having a female drummer playing in a Rush context. Now, number one, for those of you who have ever gone to a Rush show with your wife or your girlfriend, we're the ones that had to wait in line to go to the bathroom, and the women could just kind of walk in there. My wife always noted that. She did go to a couple of shows with me. But aside from that, I think it's a really, really cool choice. I mean, there's a lot of drummers that I know would have lined up to play with Rush. Some notables like Portnoy and Danny Carey and things like that. Those would have been obvious choices to do a tribute show with Rush. But the fact they went in a completely different direction, I think, says a lot about the intention of the show. They're not trying to recreate Rush. Rush, as it was, will never be. But this can be done in a real classy way. A real tribute to Neil Peart, which they've mentioned will be there, obviously in video form. It will be a tribute to the spirit of Rush, and I think that is a very classy move.
There's one other decision that is coming. I love the idea of being able to wander over to the drummer and just be a bass player. So I think we will find ourselves adding to the band, maybe a keyboard player. What do you think of an idea like that?
I think it's great. I think having a little time together at the front of the stage will be a lot of fun.
It'll be great. I think for songs like Tom Sawyer, et cetera, it's going to be important that I play those signature keyboard parts.
It will be very liberating for you, and we can start working on the dance routines that we wanted to do for so long. So it's amazing. This is going to be great. Just give me a hug.
Somebody get this guy out of here.
That's going to be great.
Oh, man. I'm telling you, I cried and I cried. I sent a message to my family and my friends. And I think this is something that I'm glad is happening. I think Rush, just in the way they've always carried themselves, always been a very class act. A lot of us wondered why they didn't do an official tribute to Neil Peart after he passed. There was kind of a local gathering. It was a show in St. Catharines, which is Neil Peart's hometown. And I did go to see it with a friend of mine. And in no disrespect to the organizers of that event, I mean, the sentiment was there. Absolutely. But it just didn't feel like a fitting tribute to Neil Peart. There weren't really any notable people there, maybe one by video messaging. It was basically a collection of Rush cover bands. And, I think we all felt it was going to be a bit more than that. And again, it was great for those who got to participate. But for someone in the audience, it just felt it was lacking something. Geddy and Alex weren't there. And that says everything right there. So I often wondered, especially after seeing the Taylor Hawkins tribute, and they mentioned how they participated, how come Neil never got that tribute? But they waited. Obviously, now they feel it's the right time. The fact they're bringing in a female drummer and they're going to bring in a keyboard player. So it's not like they're trying to replace Neil Peart and go on tour. Clearly, it's going to be a tribute to Neil Peart, knowing how Rush has always created amazing productions live. Neil is going to be well represented, I'm sure, in video form. So the spirit of Neil Peart will definitely be there. And as Geddy said, he can liberate himself from the keyboards and get to be in the front of the stage more often with Alex. I think he's going to be a lot of fun. And I feel really good about this. I think that chance to see them one more time, understanding, of course, this is not going to be the classic Rush on stage, but 2/3 of Rush are going to be on stage. And I'm just thinking about my kids, hopefully they'll agree to come and just get a taste of, something that their dad enjoyed as a kid. And how many bands can you say? You can probably count it on one hand. They've been around long enough that you can share this experience with your kids, especially like me. We had kids a little bit older and even made it even less likely that could happen. Of course, Rush was already retired, but now they're going to put this on tour, give us a chance to see them perhaps one more time. And I think that's awesome. And just judging by my own emotions and how completely surprised I was, for one, and how the strong emotional response that I had to this, I think shows how much I still love this band and how important they are to me. I mean, my number one, my Howard Roberts Fusion, I have that. The music I play was extremely influenced by Rush. and just sort of their work ethic and how they carried themselves as human beings was a big lesson for me as a kid, as a teenager, to see that. And I carry that today. Of course, I had good parents that instilled that in me first and foremost, but in terms of outside influences. So anyways, I am super excited about this. I just wanted to make a quick video about it. And I know this is going to be a celebration. The first shows, it's going to be just, I think in 9 or 10 months from now, it's going to be a little ways. And, but Rush is going on tour. Anyways, I just wanted to share that with you. If you're a Rush fan, if you're not a Rush fan, I'm curious what your thoughts are about that. We'd love to get into discussion. Let me know in the comments. I'm stoked. What can I tell you? Rush is going on tour for their 50-something tour, and I don't think I could have got better news today. So thanks to Geddy and Alex for giving us at least one more chance to check you guys out on stage. Fills a massive, massive void in me, and I'm sure it's going to fill a massive void for them too. So anyways, that's all I got. Rush is coming back. What else do we need to know today? Nothing. That's all we need to know. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this. Would love to turn that into a discussion. But remember, you don't need a band to rock and roll, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next one.